Welcome to the final of GP Paris. The format is standard, and there are your competitors. Riley Knight's in the booth with Dr. Simon Gertzen and Marijn Leibert. It's a great pleasure to have their company. You see on the screen the two finalists here after this grueling GP. 15 rounds of Swiss, and now the top 8. Amand Dosimont out of Belgium with Abzan Agro, but Zan Syed with a new one being brought to the table, Green White Company. Collected Company, a card that has been around the fringe of the top decks of Standard. Certainly seems to have made a name for itself this weekend, Simon.
Yes, I've been very impressed. Even if it doesn't always hit, it's such a scary card to play against, and sometimes the cards you're getting out of the deal are just too good to be true. Very importantly here, Amand is not really using his advantage of being on the play, not having a 2-drop. Definitely not the perfect start for Abzan Agro.
Well, as long as he can go for Anafenza this turn, should be fine. If he doesn't have Anafenza either, that's not too good, but there we have it. And then next turn he can actually Dromoka's Command away the Mystery of the Unseen and put a fight or +1/+1. And he's also got Siege Rhino, so it was definitely a good keep to me.
Abzan Agro really just chock full of very, very high quality cards, and Dromoka's Command has been a pretty important part of the fabric of this tournament. Incidentally hating on enchantments while providing removal and just a resilient card that answers a lot of situations in green-white decks.
If Zan plays Courser of Kruvix here, Dromoka's Command just kills him.
It kills the Courser, that's for sure. Well, he's gonna go for Morph, but that one gets killed as well. Let's see if he's gonna go for the 2/4/1. Yeah, he's not wasting time there, Amand. He's gonna fight and then get rid of the Mastery of the Scene. He could have also gone for more pressure in the form of Siege Rhino. Do you like the play of going Dromoka's Command there?
First of all, the Den Protector has to be exiled because Anafenza is in play, so that should definitely be fixed. I think that you want to make sure that. I think you want to make sure that Mastery of the Unseen is dealt with. I think you could have played Siege Runner there as well, though.
Because it uses your mana so much better. And then next turn you've got Absent Charm plus Dromoka's Command. And now, yeah, we're going to see a Valorous stance, I think. Yeah, then all of a sudden you've got no more pressure. And that Den Protector, it's not like it could have returned. Well, actually, if he goes Valorous stance and then Den Protectors it back to his hand, it's super bad for Amand Dosimont. So either way it would have been bad. Now he doesn't have a creature left, but at least he didn't give more value to Zan.
The Fleece Main Line, the only card remaining after the dust has settled on that little interaction there. And now that things have been completed, Dosimont moves on to what he's going to do. We see a couple of 4-drops in his hand. There is, of course, Siege Rhinoceros. Looks like a little Solemn Visitor is hiding out the back of his hand there. But first, let's open things up with the Scry. Does he like what he sees? Looks like he does.
Yes, Sorin is a bit of a weird card. You need to play it when you have at least an even board, and that's basically all what this is about. You want to get the board presence going. You see how aggressively these two players are fighting for keeping a single creature on the board.
Here's another morph from Zan Syed.
Yeah, I think Amand is getting a bit punished here for not going for the turn 4 Siege Rhino, because having Anafenza and Siege Rhino in play would have let him dictate the pace of play.
Yeah, but the Valorous stance would have killed one of them, and then it would have gotten returned with the Den Protector, and that would have killed the other one too. So I'm not 100% sure how this game would have gone. But now things are, yeah, it's still not looking very good, but it's not that bad either, because he will be able to monsters that Lion. The problem, I guess, is that Zan can indeed return the Mastery of the Unseen to get things going.
Oh, which might actually be good for Amand if he has another Dromoka's Command. You aren't too unhappy to play against Mastery of the Unseen, I found out, because you can trade 2 mana and a Dromoka's Command for 6 mana and a Mastery of the Unseen. Basically evenly.
Yeah, but there's only 2 copies of Dromoka's Command in the main deck for Amand Dosimont. He does have 1 extra copy in the sideboard, so that one should be coming in. He will need to draw either. He doesn't run main deck Den Protector neither, so he will need to draw his one of There's only one left in the deck.
Here's another more from Syed. And immediately flipping to take care of the Anafenza the foremost. It's a Hidden Dragon Slayer.
The Hidden Dragon Slayer is brutal in this matchup. It combined with the Valorous stance to already kill the largest creatures of Abzan Aggro, and that's pretty much the best thing that Abzan Aggro has going for it. The undercosted creatures. Well, if you have more Siege Runners, that's certainly good news.
And Zan already at 9 now. He does have some lifelink going on, but the Hidden Dragon Slayer actually not that good of a blocker. He might be able to get some more life gain with the Mastery of the Unseen, but if he hits like a land, he's actually using a lot of mana for nothing.
I think that's what I mean. The Mastery is good to take over the game, but it's actually not that good at stabilizing. And the interesting thing here is you pay 5 mana and 6 mana for these Megamorphs and you get some value out of them clearly, but on the battlefield themselves they are pretty much outclassed. They are almost irrelevant when it comes to combat.
Master of the Unseen, the play from Zan Syed.
What are you going to do? Double block Siege Rhino, block a Fleece mainline that's threatening to go monstrous, start chump blocking? All of these options are not very attractive.
Dosimont, having a good think about the card on top of his library. He's got the option to put it underneath if he chooses. But no, he's happy enough to draw it next turn. And he now considering his next move. Sends in his creatures. Of course, the 5 rather conspicuously open mana could prove to be problematic. We're going to see a manifest here.
And he's got to be careful that he doesn't go too low on life. I guess he could yeah, that's a block I was gonna suggest, but then he's losing all of his creatures and his opponent will have a monstrosity Fleece Mane Lion left.
You do gain the life, but still that's...
I guess when you have Mastery of the Unseen, gaining that 3 life could be pretty good, and it's a land anyway, the manifest, so it wasn't that... I think if it would have been a creature, he could have played differently, but now that he knew it was basically a 2/2 vanilla creature, he was fine trading that with the Siege Rhino. But now the Fleece Mane Lion is going to be super dangerous. I mean, he's at 12, that's only 3 attacks from the Fleece Mane Lion. If you combine that with like a Siege Rhino or a +2/+2 from Absent Charm, he's got quite a big clock there.
And there's a lot of cards too that are now very scary, like Sarok the Hunt Caller, Wingmate Rock, and so on. Another Siege Rhino waiting for Dosimont there, so definitely drawing the right creature mix.
This Absent deck, it's been such a long time since we've had an Absent deck where we had an aggro deck that had such a high card quality.
Yeah.
Like all of the cards, even the 1-drop, the Warden of the First Tree is super good in the late game. Fleece Mane Lion, I mean, here Rakshasa Death Dealer. It's just so insane how you can have such a good curve and still have such a good strong late game.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Junt in Standard, where you basically couldn't ever flood out because your early drops were just so ahead of the curve. And we are now living in a world where there's Fleece Mane Lions, Rakshasa Death Dealers, and Warden of the First Trees in these aggro decks, and these 1 and 2 drops outclass even the control deck's 6 drops. It's absolutely crazy.
Dosimont building up his board here with a Siege Rhino followed by Rakshasa Death Dealer. So choosing not to throw that manifest under the bus. Must be something good hiding out under there, but still his back's against the wall.
Yeah, you also have to keep in mind that Master of the Unseen only becomes really absurd if you manage to get some kind of board presence going, which this game has been all about. Also, monstrosing Fleece Mane Lion could be a long-term goal, but currently Zan is under too much pressure.
Six mana available for the American. Blossoming Sands going to buffer his life total up to 6.
I guess the big problem here is that there's no Raptor for Zan. If he would have had like a Raptor, then that combined with the mastery of the Unseen would have been very good. Now that he's not got that blocker that comes back every turn, he's just throwing away 4 mana every turn to chump block with a 2/2.
Yeah, and then the mastery never really gets out of hand.
He can monsters here. He could do that and then chump block the Fleeceman, the Rakshasa, but that all of the creatures from Animal are still surviving.
Yeah. Also, you don't want to block in a way that puts you down to 2, because that leaves you dead to both Siege Rhino and Abzan Charm.
Yeah, but you've already seen 1 Absent Charm and 2 Siege Rhino. I don't think there is like a way to survive against these cards anyway. I think this is the point where you give up on beating another copy of Siege Rhino or Absent Charm. You just think about what will happen if our opponent doesn't have that.
Yeah, you in a sense you have to hope that there is no relevant spell in Dosimont's hand, and that's the thing we've been talking about. If you draw even a Warden of the First Tree here, and the rest of your hand is lands, you make it turn it into a 3/3, and you threaten to activate its level 2 and level 3 abilities soon.
So Zan Syed having a chat with one of the judges here. Looks like he's thinking about unmorphing or flipping up that manifest. And he seemed to trap 3 mana to do it. Could be a Courser of Crufix, could be a Death Miss Raptor, and that is indeed what it is. Gains 2 life, goes up to 8.
Might be the first piece of the puzzle.
He's gonna draw Moka's command, I think, and fight. No, it doesn't get a counter. It only gets a counter when it megamorphs, and that costs 5 mana. If you unmorph it for 3 mana, which you can if it's a manifest, then it doesn't get a +1/+1 counter. It could get a +1/+1 counter from this card though.
Yeah, there's no instant to prevent damage from, and you definitely want to fight with something here.
So Syed able to use the Dromoka's command as a prey upon with value.
It's the fake monstrous lion. Pretending, a pretender.
Yeah, it's a pretender, that's right.
A Dan pretender.
Exactly that. Back to Dosimont we go. He's sitting with a couple of 4-power creatures there and 2 cards in hand. Is one of them Elspeth?
No, I don't think he's got that one main deck. He does have a Wingmate Rock.
With the monstrous Fleeceman line, attacking should not be a difficult decision. The question is only if you also want to attack with Siege Rhino. The trade between Siege Rhino and Death Mist Raptor doesn't look horrible, but Amand has to think about the future trends, and it is in fact Sovereign's Fallen Visitor.
It does look horrible to me when your opponent has Mastery of the Unseen.
Well, but he has 1 turn to find something. If he doesn't, he's also pretty much done with.
No, but your Siege Rhino dies, and then you Monstrosity your Fleeceman line, and then the board is even. But now with this one around, I guess it looks a little bit more appealing because you're also dealing 2 trample damage, unless your opponent also blocks with the Fleeceman line, in which case you just put that one first.
Yeah, then you are super happy. And is there a way for the Fleeceman line to survive on Zan's side? Only if he takes 5 points of damage, because then he is threatening to kill the Sorin on the swing back, but he can't afford that because then he dies to the Fleeceman line on Amand's side of the board. So I think there's no good blocks if Amand plays this aggressively.
He's gonna make a vampire token. He wants some evasion, but I'm not 100% sure that's the way he wants to go. I mean, the Fleeceman line should at least get in for 4 there.
Well, it should also attack before you reveal the Planeswalker to your opponent and what you're up to with it.
Well, that one is not that like. Well, I guess it gives himself some more information. I know you're Belgian, no. But
this is a question of proper sequencing and not giving
Of course, you don't want to give away the information just yet. But I think it wouldn't have changed much, given that the Den Raptor is a pretty good block anyway. Well, it is a logical block.
So, Death Mist Raptor hits the bin, and Zan Syed begins his next turn. He draws a card. 7 mana available to him here. No Nykthos shenanigans just yet. Looks like he's interested in maybe tapping 4 mana there.
He needs to draw Collected Company.
This may be the card that he's found. 4 mana might indicate that. Manifests instead.
Now he does get to the point where he can actually get 2 manifests a turn. And if one of these manifests is like a creature that he can unmorph, he gets back the Raptor, which is super good. So I think it was a good decision by Amand. Was it actually? Because the blocks would have been a lot worse.
No, I think the decision by Amand was fine. Just the sequencing was off. Zan, I think, had a line available to him after seeing the Sorin to not block the Monstrous Fleece main line, to wait on the chump block and to attack the Sorin with the Raptor next turn. That puts Amand in a tough spot, whether to block, and then you can still rely on Mastery of the Unseen to get you out of this. And now I think Zan has put himself with the early chump block, 1 turn too early in my opinion, in a position to basically lose the game here.
Zan Syed with a double block on the Siege Rhino and the Chumpsies on the Fleece main line.
He's losing everything and he's taking 3. Because of the +1/+0 from Vampire. Oh wait, no, he's not losing. He's keeping 1 manifest.
Yeah, because of the +1/+1 count on the Fleece main. Is there a line where you kill the manifest just because of Raptor and Mastery? Let your opponent have a Fleece main line?
No, I don't think so. Because he can monstrous it. Like he attacks if I don't know what Amand's hand is, but he's gonna attack the Sorin and then kill it, and then manifest and chump block the Fleece main lion, and then your vampire is gone, and there's still the Mastery of the Unseen potentially gaining life. So I think he needs to kill the manifest, because just because the Sorin doesn't die. Yeah, he needs to kill the lion because the Sorin doesn't die to an attack from the manifest. And it's kind of obvious that it's not a creature, because I think he would have blocked a little bit differently, or at least played differently if it would have been a creature. At least the first one. That one was not a creature for sure.
Rexas the Death Dealer, the follow-up play here for Dosimont as he goes up to 34. Syed down to 5. So things certainly swung in the way of the Belgian for game number 1 here.
And if you have a Death Dealer to follow it up, then things are looking very good indeed.
Well, imagine a Den Protector now coming off the Mastery of the Scene. Get back my Valorous stance. Get rid of the Fleece main line. No, get back. Well, at least make sure that the Rakshasa Death Dealer is not a good blocker. Ooh, and he plays the Elf, so he must have a creature that he can flip up as the manifest. Otherwise, I don't think he would have ever played the Elvish Mystic.
Yeah, that's a pretty good read, but on the other hand, it can't really be Den Protector because you would want to get back Valorous stance, most likely. So maybe it's a hidden Dragon Slayer? The second Dragon Slayer, maybe?
An Elvish Mystic, a Fleece main Lion, could be pretty much anything. Courser of Crufix. But he's gonna be jumping once again. He does gain 3 life though, so it's hard for Amand to attack with everything, because then he could lose his Sorin.
Wait. There is a Deathmist Raptor in the graveyard, so you stack the triggers such that the Deathmist Raptor returns, and then the Mastery trigger resolves. So that's 4 life, and you have an additional blocker with Death Touch. Well, not that Death Touch is particularly good against this armada.
2 mana, so Fleece main Lion. Fleecy DC it is. And now he gains 4. Yeah, he's gonna take over this game, right? He's gonna double chump block now, and then try to kill the Sorin.
Here come the blocks. So Rakshasa Death Dealer able to regenerate, of course, to avoid being killed by the Death Mist Raptor. But that vampire getting through without any problems. And away they go. So double fleece main line for Zan Syed as he hits 8 life. Neither of them are monstrous. Once again, the pretender there. As we have a second vampire enter the fray. And Zan ships the turn. Dosimont ships the turn back to Zan.
It's crazy how this format has an aggro deck that has such a staying power. That we are in, what is this? Turn 10, 11, 12? And there's just still so much play available to both sides. And I don't think it's clear that the aggro deck is losing in any way.
Well, now I think it's going to be very hard. Because Zan can actually kill the Sorin. And then I think he must have drawn a Collected Company or a Morph, actually. No? Well, he doesn't even need it. Yeah, he can just, like, double manifest and then hope to unmorph something, but even if he doesn't, he can just double block. And he will take 4, he goes down to 4, but then next turn he gets another shot at hitting a creature with the Mastery of the Unseen.
But this is where he needs to manifest a cheap creature to flip up. I think that's the key, right? If he only hits non-creatures or things he can't afford to manifest and has to keep chump blocking, I think he's just not in a position to stabilize. And if he does stabilize, then his life total is soon going to be much higher than the 34 on Amand's side.
Master of the Unseen, allowing Syed to hold on to this game by the skin of his teeth. We see an immediate manifestation made here thanks to... Oh, it's Collected Company. There we go. So the final card in Syed's hand, 4 mana, Collected Company. Let's have a look and see what he's got. In the characteristic fashion, he lays the 6 cards out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A very fastidious and careful player, this American, as he consults the grip. What's he found? Card number 1, Elvish Mystic. Card number 2 through 6, no good. Wow, wow. Away they go.
And now Amand Dosimont, if he drew a removal, he's actually killing his opponent. I think attacking with both lions might not have been necessary. I mean, if I'm on chump blocks with 1 vampire, that's fine, right? It's not that big of a disaster. Yeah, it doesn't have a removal spell. That's good.
I mean, Zan was clearly hoping for a bit more out of his Collected Company there.
So Master of the Unseen, the morphed, the manifested card from the top of Zan's library there. That's going to eat the dust along with the Elvish Mystic. And here's a follow-up Sorin. So the Air Force that Dosimont has assembled here is really putting the pumps on Syed. He's going to have to find something very, very quickly. Of course, he can gain a little bit of life off the Mastery, but still, 6 power in the air, 9 power next turn.
I think this second Sorin is sealing the deal, because Zan needs to attack it if he doesn't want to give more advantage to his opponent, and if he doesn't attack it, then it's just gonna pump all of the flyers.
Yeah, and Zan hasn't been able to manifest something that really turned the game around or gotten his Raptor back. And then his company fizzled. Now he sees on the top of his deck that he isn't going to get another successful manifest out of the deal. Is he able to manifest twice now?
If he hits a land off the top from Courser. But that doesn't even matter.
But then he still doesn't have mana to unmanifest, to unmorph.
And another Master of the Unseen on top of Syed's deck. That's maybe all he can do. Those flyers are going to end the game in very convincing fashion if this is all Syed's capable of doing here. And indeed, there it is. So the writing's on the wall there for Zan Syed. These guys hitting their sideboards for game number 2 after Sorin. Solemn Visitor, the MVP for game number 1 for Amand Dosimont. The countryman of my esteemed colleague here, Marijn Leibert. He's got his compatriot's deck list sitting in front of him. What are we looking at on the sideboard, Marijn?
One Dromoka's command is pretty much coming in. I think he could also bring in like Den Protector, but that might be a little bit too slow. I guess Self-Inflicted Wound is also a good cyber card. Maybe even Elspeth to go a little bit bigger. The cards that he wants to bring out, I don't know. I don't see anything that pops up in my... I guess the 4 Thoughtseize do make a little bit of sense to take out against such a deck. But if you can snatch a Collected Company, that's still fine, right?
I think if you are Abzan aggro in this spot, especially on the draw, you are most scared of Master of the Unseen to go unchecked, but you also kind of need to disrupt the green-white deck's game plan. So a bit of discard, a bit of tempo plays should still be available, I think. Otherwise, you don't feel happy after sideboarding. I'm not sure what Amand is expecting out of Zan Syed, though. What is the green-white company deck going to transform into? Given that all these cards look good on paper, but we saw in Game 1 how things can fall apart. 3 plummets are definitely not going to be relevant. Hornet Nest is an option. I've seen people bring in the Hornet Nest a lot. I was surprised from time to time. A Russian Cleric is here for the red matchups. 2 Elspeth, Sun's Champion, combined with 2 Whisperwood Elemental is a nice way to just go over the top and add more raw power to the deck. And then there's 2 Reclamation Sages, which have, I would say, no targets at all. So I think Zan has to rely on the Whisperwood Elementals, the Elspeths, and yeah, I expect some Hornet Nests, although I'm always I'm never sure how good this card really is in this matchup.
So Zan Syed, perhaps an unfamiliar face for the people on this side of the Atlantic. He's a man who with a very determined set of goals. I don't know if you around the world are aware of this bloke, but he managed to top 8 GP Miami, and there's a little bit of background to that story. He was in med school, and he decided, or he was heading to med school. In any case, he's a sharp bloke, and he was semi-committed to Magic, and he thought, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it properly. I need to demonstrate to myself that I do have what it takes to compete in the big leagues in Magic. And so he gave himself 2 Grand Prix, Grand Prix Memphis and Grand Prix Miami. And he dedicated himself fully to succeeding at the highest level at these Grand Prix. And he set himself the goal of top 8ing one of these GPs. And if he couldn't do it, then it was off to med school to become a wizard of medicine rather than a wizard of cards. And this bloke, as we say, managed to make it all the way to the top 8 in GP Miami. And so after having done that, he's bolstered his confidence. He said, you know what, I can throw my weight around with the biggest and the best in the game. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pursue this dream. And what he's done is he's flown all the way across the ditch, across the Atlantic, come to beautiful Paris to come and test his mettle against the mightiest wizards over here in France, on the other side in Europe, as I say, because he knows all of the American pros are at Atlantic City. They're busting open sealed pools, and they're drafting in day 2. So he wanted to come once again and put his money where his mouth was, so to speak. However, he's a foreigner in a foreign country. He's a man in a strange country, of course, and he's come over here with one mind: to slay mighty wizards. But he needs assistance, ladies and gentlemen, and we've actually been we've had a chat with him. He's off to GP Florence next weekend, which we've touched upon, of course, being the team GP. A lot of very excited anticipation for that. Marijn, I know you're heading there with a team full of Belgian superstars.
And we are heading there to cover it.
And you're heading there to cover it as well, and I will be lounging back in my boxer shorts in my apartment in Berlin, enjoying every minute of the coverage. However, Zan Syed is in need of a team. You can hit him up on Facebook, find him, Zan Syed, the name on your screen. If you type that in, get in touch with him if you're looking for someone who is really on the up and up. 2 consecutive GP top 8s. He's made this request. He wants to put it out there. If you're looking for a teammate who can more than hold his own in the top level of competitive Magic, this is your guy.
Coming hot and fresh from GP Paris, Magic the Matchmaking.
Magic the Matchmaking. I like that very much. Look at that. We're bringing hearts and minds together from around the globe. Zan Syed in need of a team sealed companion or 2. So get in touch with him. He's on Facebook. He might be on Twitter as well. Look him up, because I tell you what, walking away with this bloke on your team would be a pretty good place to start, I think.
I'm optimistic. If I think he's committed to making the trip anyway, and he should be able to find a team with 2 GP top 8s in this year, which hasn't been a long year. I think a lot of people should be happy to.
No, absolutely, and I mean these are recent events as well. This guy's on a hot streak, and I'm sure he's with a resume such as that and such determination. That's what's really impressive, is that this guy with a very determined purpose has actually said, I've got plans, I've got a goal, I'm going to get somewhere, and he's put his mind to it, and here he is once again competing for a GP title after top 8ing one only a couple of weeks ago. Really impressive stuff from Zan Syed. Amand Dosimont, though, he's a character as well, and Marijn, I imagine you'd be able to tell us a little bit more about him.
He won't be going to Florence. He doesn't like limited. He only plays constructed. He's pretty much known in Belgium for playing an all foiled out berthing pod deck in modern, but yeah.
Not anymore.
Yeah. So he needed to find another strength, and I guess Abs and Aggro is his second choice of strength. And well, it's going good. He's up a game in the final. So if he wins this match, he's straight onto the leader of the World Magic Cup. He didn't have a single pro point, but us Belgians, we are so bad that one GP win is good enough to grab the title in Belgium, man.
You mean bad or just unsuccessful this particular season?
Bad. Unsuccessful.
I was giving you a straw.
No, he refused to take it. It's the voice of Belgian magic, ladies and gentlemen. Marijn Leibert, an esteemed colleague of mine. Here's Zan Syed with his opener. Can see a couple of hidden Dragon Slayers in there. Amand Dosimont with a very composed figure there. Zan Syed hitting the tank, still thinking about it. Of course, even if the race for the Belgian captaincy might not be so cut and dry, of course, we've got an Italian here on the team. Simon, now you're living in Italy. Maybe you're going to step up and lead the Italians to victory.
I'm lacking the GP wins.
Maybe I'll captain the German team while we're at it. Here we go with Zan Syed opening up with a Forest. Amand Dosimont answering with a Temple of Malady. And again, we see the turn 2 Master of the Unseen.
Amand has his work cut out for him. Mastery into some morphs that will turn out to be hidden Dragon Slayers, and Amand does not have the most aggressive of draws.
So Zan Syed here. We're going to see a card manifested. And Hidden Dragon Slayer matching up very nicely against many of the threats in the aggro deck.
It's such a scary card, and the problem is, you've come to expect it to be Den Protectors or Death Mist Raptors.
Yeah.
You don't think about every morph in the format, clearly.
Yeah, I remember this play. I think it was around 7 or 8. Andrzej Strasky, double Protor Top 8er. Like, his opponent had a morph. He had a Dragon Lord Ojutai. Yeah. Get in there with my Ojutai and lose it to Hidden Dragon Slayer. That was brutal.
It was brutal stuff, that's right. I remember the look of grief that overcame the young man's face when he was completely blown out by the Dragon Slayer. It'll be interesting to see if Dosimont
It's called
has
Hidden Dragon Slayer for a reason.
Yeah, very well named, yeah. Not obvious Dragon Slayer. Entirely conspicuous Dragon Slayer, doesn't have the same ring to it. Dosimont ship, still no play from him. So Syed setting himself up nicely here. Mastery into Morph with no pressure.
I'm wondering what made Dosimont keep that hand. I see Dromoka's Command, Hero's Downfall, and Abzan Charm. But even though the Dromoka's Command is what you want, you need to have board presence for it to work effectively. So to me, this hand looks quite a bit too reactive. Also skipping your turn 3 by playing another Temple. Not really a Temple positive.
No, certainly not playing as though he's an aggro deck at this point. Syed in a good position to take advantage of a slow start from his opponent, and here's Collected Company. So 6 cards once again. They'll be laid out horizontally in front of the American.
For him, it's vertically. The cards are vertical.
For us, it's vertically indeed, yeah. For him, it's horizontally. There's Elvish Mystic.
But the cards are
So how do we like this 4-mana flash instant Elvish Mystic, card?
Seems very powerful.
How about a Mantis Rider and a Savage Knuckleblade?
Yeah, that's. I was hoping for that in the top 8.
That was quite a mighty deck. For those who may have missed the coverage that has been provided by our excellent writers, we've got Toby Henke and Frank Carsten. There's a full feature on the 4-match, 4-color collected company deck that made it all the way to the to X and O at the end of day number 1.
What if he would have added black for Anafenza in that deck?
Perfect.
That would have sealed the deal. He would have made top 8 then. This is not the game. This is not the game Amand wants to play.
What kind of game plan do you? It almost looks like he wants to control out the green-white company deck, and if he brought in Drowning Sorrows, he might actually be able to, because of the peculiar look of Zan's board. But that's like. It's like the dream come true scenario here. I wasn't expecting the post-board game to look anything like that.
Yeah, that looks absolutely bananas. There you go. A nice little cleaning job there by Dosimont, taking his opponent out. Sweep, off we go. And the Hidden Dragon Slayer no longer hidden, along with the Courser of Krufix and Elvish Mystic that was swept up as well.
There's not even that many 2/2s in the deck from Zan Syed. I mean, he's got Elvish Mystic, Den Protector and Hidden Dragon Slayer and Warden of the First Tree, but all of the other creatures, they actually survive.
And getting the 3-for-1 with such a reactive card that also kills most of your own creatures if you aren't careful is very unlikely. Also, still there's no pressure, so the whole Megamorph synergies are still threatening to take over the game despite the card advantage you're generating.
Syed committing another morph to the board with 2 mana up. It could be a Hidden Dragon Slayer, could be a Den Protector. Dosimont probably very aware of both of those things.
Yeah, and you can't really play around either, because if you cast a removal spell and it's the Den Protector, you're losing out. And if you ignore it, then it might be the Hidden Dragon Slayer and you get punished too.
So here is Siege Rhino. We did see Zan Syed with 2 Hidden Dragon Slayers in his opening hand, but it is Den Protector this time around. So he's going to buy back a card from his graveyard. Does Dosimont have anything to say about that? With a grip full of lands? Perhaps not. Although, Dromica's Command's up in the mix.
Yeah, but that shouldn't affect the what to return with the Den Protector.
Hidden Dragon Slayer, a nice answer to the Siege Rhino.
Wasn't an easy choice there because Collected Company is just so powerful. But Zan wants to maximize the Megamorph.
I mean, it can put an Elvish Mystic into play at instant speed. Here's Deathmist Raptor. And Zan Syed content to say go.
Yeah, if I'm playing this final as the green-white company deck and I see my opponent board in so many reactive cards and keeping a hand that doesn't play a creature until turn 6, I'm happy to play the waiting game. How is this game going to end in favor of Abs and Aggro if you're drawing so many lands and reactive cards?
Here's Deathmist Raptor attacking past the Siege Rhino. Going to put Dosimont down to 13. And we see now another morph. You've got to imagine it's the Hidden Dragon Slayer. So Syed, even though he's on 5 lands, able to execute a pretty coherent game plan here.
Well, if he draws an Elspeth, it's actually looking pretty good, right? Elspeth could really change the tables here.
So choosing not to activate the ability on the Hidden Dragon Slayer, although it costs 3, so not having the choice to there. In comes Siege Rhino.
Yeah, it would have been perfect if that hadn't been the Hidden Dragon Slayer, but another Den Protector.
And Siege Rhino number 2.
Yeah, Zan, I think, is not being very cohesive here. He's trying to play the long game, the waiting game. He's being very patient, but then he attacks with Deathmist Raptor to trade 3 for 4 in the damage race, and he has to put Amand on some spells that remove his creatures. So I think playing the Hidden Dragon Slayer was a mistake, and attacking with Deathmist Raptor was a mistake as well. if you have the Deathmist Raptor on defense, the Siege Rhino will never be able to attack, or you force Amand to spend a removal spell on the Raptor, which you're also super happy about.
Here's a morph. And there it is, Hidden Dragon Slayer number 2.
Yeah, now we can start getting in there for 3. I mean, he puts him at 13 with that, and the Deathmist Raptor and the Hidden Dragon Slayer on defense, good enough to hold Amand Dosimont back. The good thing about the Raptor also is that it cannot die to, well, it can die to Dromoka's command, but then you're killing your opponent's creature with Death Touch as well. So it's certainly
the only card you have to respect is Abzan Charm or Anafenza plus something, but the way this game has been going, Deathmist Raptor is an absolute house.
Interesting interplay between these two decks as these players trade blows. But Dosimont again with a hand that very reactive. Dromoka's command and a couple of lands all in the grip for Dosimont, as we see the Deathmist Raptor get in there this time.
Yeah, now it will be very hard for Amand to actually deal these last 9 damage. Like, he can't even draw enough Siege Rhinos. Did he also board in Den Protector? Then he can draw enough Siege Rhinos. But I feel like it's his only way out. Well, Wingmate Rock could also help, or something like Elspeth Sun's Champion could get him back into the game. But I think that's about it. That's what he's drawing to.
Because his draw is lacking the really proactive cards, and somehow he hasn't drawn any of his cheap creatures that would actually dominate this battlefield. A single Rakshasa Death Dealer, for example, would be huge here, holding off every single of Zan's creatures.
Collected Company, the play from Zan Syed after that Siege Rhino attacks. 6 cards off the top. Let's see what Zan has managed to conjure up here.
Elvish Mystic.
Elvish Mystic is going to be brought in.
No, it's a Courser of Grufix.
That's a slightly better hit.
And a Hornet Nest.
Wow, that's a big game. That's a big hit. That's a big hit with the Rhino inbound already. Too late for Dosimont to change his mind on that one.
Trample does help, though.
Yeah, I think I would block with more, yeah. But then the block with the Hornet Nest actually becomes irrelevant, because if you want to kill it, you need to block with like Den Protector and Hidden Dragon Slayer.
But then you can the Hornet Nest just doesn't even have to block. Yeah. So with this block, you're still taking 2. You get 2 insects out of the deal, 2 Hornets, but trading your O2
and what
for 2 Death Touch creatures, I mean...
What if Amand also has a second Drowning Sorrow? I mean, it is possible. He has 3 in the sideboard, or 2?
Yeah,
3 in the sideboard. So
it's
if
more likely that he boards in 3 than 1.
Yeah, so... And it's actually good on this board. It would get rid of the Hornet Nest creatures, and the Dragon Slayer and the Den Protector. Well, I agree that all Rakshasa Death Dealer and Fleeceman line are just too good to cyber out.
I don't think he cyberboarded them out. I've never seen an Abzan aggro player.
What else did he cyber out?
Cyber out 2 drops.
What else did he cyber out? I mean, he kept his Siege Rhinos, he kept his Dromoka's command, he kept his Anafenzas. He must have cybered out Sorin, I guess. But he brought in a lot of cards. He brought in Drowning Sorrow 3 times, 2 Glare of Heresy, probably brought in the extra copy of Dromoka's command. That is 6 cards which he brought in.
He also hasn't cast a Thoughtseize yet.
Yeah.
So that's definitely an option. Hero's Downfall is a card that you could theoretically take out. Or did he cast one?
No, he played 1 already. And he's only got 2, so he must have kept these. I think he either cybered out his Thoughtseizes or some of his 2 drops. But I wouldn't advise you guys at home to cyber out 2 drops in Abzan aggro.
Dromoka's command on the stack might be met with a Dromoka's command of Syed's own, and there it is. Let's see what he's up to with this one.
He could actually fight with his Hornet Nest to get 4 bees.
Put a +1/+1 counter on it first, so that it actually kills the opposing creature.
Oh yeah, that works as well.
Do we know what the first Dromoka's command is doing exactly?
Not 100% sure.
He's gonna put a +1/+1 on Hidden Dragon Slayer and fight with the Raptor, with the Anafenza. That one, is it getting exiled? Yeah. Yeah, that's what I thought. Which is actually relevant, of course, because it's a Raptor, and Raptors have the tendency to come back. I think I would have loved Simon's line a little bit better, depending on the first Dromoka's command, of course. Now he gets 4 bees?
It looks like the Siege Runner was assigned all of its damage to the Hornet Nest rather than going through for any trampling damage. Of course, you're allowed to do that. I don't know why you would.
I think it must have been with a fight. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense, right? No, because Zan is actually at 9.
And there it is. That'll do it. So Zan Syed managing to take out the second game under very interesting circumstances. A convoluted and complicated stack being built up there with those Dromoka's commands. And these guys going to take to the sideboards once again. You can see in Zan Syed's sideboard, he's taken out a couple of Elvish Mystics by the look of things, and brings a Hornet Nest to the front. So maybe he's going to bring in a couple more of those O2s there.
I think Hornet Nest has done more than it ever could have. Maybe it's time to take it out again.
Zan Syed also took out a land there. I saw a Temple of Plenty hitting the bench.
Yeah, I think it's time to bring them out, because you saw the Drown in Sorrows.
Yeah, you saw that your opponent is already ready for the Hornet Nest, so might as well take it out again. Now the big thing is that Amand is going to be on the play. He really wants to have a concise game plan. He wants to curve out. He wants to have Anafenza in play, have it stick, and just basically you want to be attacking every single turn. And then cast your spells when you have a 2-1 or maybe even 2-0 majority on the battlefield. And that's what the strength of Abzan aggro is, and not this kind of I suddenly play control after sideboarding.
I could forgive Amand for not attacking on turn 1, but he certainly needs to be attacking on turn 3 with one of his 2 drops. Turn 2 will be a little bit harder. I guess it's possible with Warden of the First Tree, but I could see sideboarding out the Warden of the First Tree. Honestly, I don't know myself how good it is in the Abzan deck. Do you have experience with it?
I think it's a vital piece of the puzzle, and that's because the 2-drops are so important. Warden of the First Tree gives you another way to get on the battlefield early, and it's not even that relevant whether it's a 3/3 or not early on. Just having that creature you can often attack with, because your opponent can't block because you're threatening the activation, and you want your Dromoka's commands to be as scary as possible for the opponent, and you can only do that if you have creatures in play, and those creatures should be 3/3s in the best case, so that you can actually kill a Corsair in combat, make your opponent sacrifice an enchantment and fight relevantly without losing your creature, of course. So I think all the cheap creatures, and Amand only has 2 Wardens, which I think is on the low end of the spectrum. The cheap creatures should be in on the play. Some of the more expensive cards can easily be cut. You don't even want the game to go that long that a card like Wingmate Rock is the card you need to win. Zorak I like. You can actually just generate huge tempo swings with it. Also, yeah, you don't have to sideboard as many cards when you are on the play, because your proactive game plan is what you need to win.
Yeah, I wonder if he sideboarded all of the Drown in Sorrows and the Glare of Cereses, he must have sideboarded the Self-Inflicted Wounds too, or you think that card, well, it's actually not that good, right? It's only very good against Courser of Krufix, but you've already got the Dromoka's command against that one. Like, getting an Elvish Mystic is not that good. Fleeceman Line is also a good target. Do you think it's worth sideboarding the 2 copies?
What do you mean with target? It's really hit or miss. There's some draws where you're really unhappy to draw a Self-Inflicted Wound, and I personally I'm not a fan of going for Edict effects against a deck with 4 Collected Company and 3 Mastery of the Unseen, also the 4 Elvish Mystics. So just a lot of ways to generate value. Also, what do you do if your opponent morphs a creature? You can't even make him sacrifice it, and then you're still losing all the value from them getting the Mega Morph counter and the trigger. I'm not a fan, especially not if it's 2. It's not the card you want to draw, I think.
Final preparations in order for the last game of GP Paris. The final is all but over. Amand Dosimont out of Belgium with his Abzan aggro deck, looking to take down Zan Syed, the only man in his way for getting this, the hoisting the trophy high. Zan Syed, though, he's a man on a mission. He's got other ideas about how things are going to pan out, and you can see the determination that he's brought to this tournament, making it all the way to the final, hoping to lift the trophy above his head and acquit himself well on the goal that he's set himself. Zan Syed staring into the soul of the card that's in front of him. Looks like it might be hitting the bin. Yes, he chooses Wispwood Elemental over Hornet's Nest. That could be decisive. We'll see exactly how that goes as Zan Syed limbs up for another pile shuffle here. He's going for the 5 stack. We saw the 8 stack before, a classic choice.
I usually go for the Hall of Fame stack.
The Hall of Fame stack.
The 7 stack. Like.
Yeah, I think the 7 stack really a classic choice there, and used by many of the more prominent players in Magic.
There's actually no alternative to 7.
There's no alternative. Zimon Gertzen, once again, a decisive and an incisive statement, dare I say. The 7-card stack, the Hall of Fame shuffle as it's known, very much the choice of the professionals.
Also very important to not go back and forth, but to go around.
Yeah.
That's also
always go for full circle.
Well, are you going full circle, or are you going across from left to right and then again from left to right in the 3?
Yeah, the latter.
The latter, I think.
I actually have a very special technique. I'll show you later.
Yeah, I'm
just
looking forward to
basically drop the cards onto the 4 piles in one fluid motion.
Yeah.
So that it's not really left to right or right to left.
It's taken you years to master that technique, I imagine.
Yeah, but now I save all that time. So I've basically gotten it back.
You've
already.
basically saved years of your life. I would imagine so. That's exactly how that goes. Here are the opening hands of the 2 finalists of GP Paris. You can see Zan Syed there examining his opener. The picture of concentration and calm. Dosimont happy with his 7. Zan Syed, however, looking to take 6 of the best. And here we see the 8 stack. Things all tied up at 1 and 1. And once again, Dosimont looking cool, calm, and collected.
I mean, being on the play, your opponent mulligans might have already spotted that his hand is exactly what he's looking for.
In the finals. Yeah, not bad.
With a nice hat.
No, I'm not sure.
Is this something that the Belgian players have to wear when they
the colors are definitely the right ones. Although, well,
I don't think Simon's going to argue with
that. Simon's not going to argue with that one. But I know
it took Belgium quite a while to win a GP.
Well, we already have won. How many? Well, I'm not going to go there.
So Zan Syed happy enough to keep this one, and Dosimont opens things up, proudly emblazoned with the traditional headdress of the Belgian people, with the Temple of Malady. Temple of Plenty, Zan Syed's answer, and away goes that below decks as well. Dosimont with a 2nd tapped land here.
Dosimont doesn't like his 2-drops in this finals. I mean, he hasn't played a single one in neither of the games. It seems like he... What did he keep here?
I think he has Anafenza plus Siege Rhino, which would definitely be reasonable.
The Siege Rhino was on top, so he didn't have that one. And now
No, if he... Oh, I think it's Dromoko's command. So he has Downfall, Dromoko's command, Siege Rhino.
A very reactive hand kept by Dosimont once again, and we see Syed off to the races with a Fleecemane Lion.
I think it was... Is it also Sorin? Yeah, it's also... Like, he definitely kept the Siege Rhino on top with the Temple, so he must have had something. Otherwise, he kept 5 lands plus 2 removal spells, and I don't think that's right.
Dromoko's command is a key card, but it doesn't work on its own. It doesn't... you don't utilize its full potential. You don't want to play... You sacrifice an enchantment, period. You don't want to play a card that basically hunt the weak when you have no creatures in your opening hand.
And Hero's Downfall taking care of the Fleecemane Lion. A little mana negative transaction there for Dosimont. So Zan Syed has got to be happy with his opponent using an answer that costs more than the threat. And spending his entire turn to do it as well. Here's Death Mist Raptor. Another piece of pressure, early pressure from Syed here.
And this is exactly how Amand does not want the game to go. And now imagine if Zan draws the card that he swapped out for Hornet Nest in the last second. It just gets to cast a Whispered Elemental next turn in 2 turns. Then suddenly Amand is sitting there with his reactive card, but he can't keep up with the quality of the green-white company deck once it gets rolling.
Zan Syed. Here's Hornet's Nest. So at least one of them stayed in. And he ships. Happy to keep the Raptor back on defense.
But no land drop.
Crucially.
And after a mulligan, that's often the limiting factor.
And
Temple of Silence.
Amand drew Den Protector, so he cybered in some more reactive cards.
No, it's clear if you want to play some kind of control game, that Den Protector supports that very well. I just don't agree with that initial decision.
In comes the Deathmist Raptor, this time in for 3. Dosimont down to 19. And here's the 4th land for Zayed. So critically, 4th land. That means Collected Company is online. He could be slamming Elvish Mystics into play at any time.
I would love to see an attack here from Amand Dosimont before doing anything. If Zan blocks with the Hornet Nest, you Hero's Downfall that one, and you still trample over for 4. If Zan hits 2 creatures with the company, you can fight with your command. There's not much that can go wrong. I guess the worst thing that could happen is if there is a second Hornet Nest.
Oh,
but
still
even
okay,
that's fine.
Because trading the Hornet Nest for 2 creatures is actually not the end of the world. It would of course be nice to have some Battle Blights, but okay, you have ways to deal with it. And Amand looks like he's allowing himself to be put in this kind of defensive state, and that is, I think it's, I just want to call it a bit too optimistic, because now you allow Zan to take further control of the battlefield. I think your line is absolutely correct, Maren. Attack with Siege Rhino. Put the ball in the opponent's court to really make these kind of decisions. Do I cast my instant first? Do I block? How is this going to end up?
Zan Syed is a man with a method, and he puts into play a hidden Dragon Slayer. It's not so hidden here. And of course, Crucifix, after laying those 6 cards out very, very carefully indeed.
Well, I think we're going to see Sacrifice and Enchantment fight here. I guess we're not going to see that. I was expecting that.
Zan Syed draws. The classic, I've just learned how to play Magic, draw then untap. Here's Forest. Going to gain 1 from the Corsair.
Is Zan going to beat Abzan?
Deathmist Raptor coming across. Dosimont happy to take 3. And here's a Morph. Could be Deathmist Raptor. Could be Hidden Dragon Slayer. Could be Den Protector. Could be Itaka Ifrit. Probably isn't.
Den Protector looks not only the most likely, but also the most powerful here. I think Amand's morph was a bit less surprising. It's the one morph he has in his sideboard.
He kept in Sorin? That's not a defensive card, right? Yeah, I guess he couldn't let it go after he won the game 1 with it.
Dosimont, as you say, putting himself in an odd position here with not really choosing his role with much decision.
He must have cybered out the 2 drops. I mean...
It looks like it. It looks like this is how he envisioned to win this game. I can only imagine that this is because he thought that he could play a control role against a green-white deck with Collected Company. And if you look at the deck list and you think, okay, this is an aggro deck and maybe faster than me, I could understand that. But from what we've seen and also from what we've analyzed, that's just not the case. You're losing the late game very convincingly if you allow the game to continue against a deck with 4 Collected Company, 3 Mastery of the Unseen, and don't forget the 4 Den Protectors.
Dromica's Command. Trying to engineer a little 2-for-1, but the Den Protector has something to say about that, rebuying a Collected Company from the bin.
Well, he did find a way to get rid of most of the creatures. Now we can Hero's Downfall, the Hornet Nest, and get in for 7. So that's actually pretty nice. But it also means the Hidden Dragon Slayer can come back in and gain 2 life of that 7 back. So it's only 5 damage in the end. Yeah, we're going to see that. It's not that bad, but it's not the end of the world for Zan neither, because he's still at 11 life after the attack, goes up to 13, and then he's got that Collected Company back in hand.
Dosimont considering his options, attacking with just the Den Protector, keeping the Siege Rhino back.
Yeah, keeping the Siege Rhino back is 4 damage you miss, but it's also making sure the Hidden Dragon Slayer doesn't attack. So basically it's 2 lifelink Zan is not getting, so it's 2 damage you miss and you don't take 2 damage. So it's an even trade. It's basically you deciding whether you go aggressive or defensively, and it seems like Amand has chosen his role while sideboarding, and he's playing it very defensively.
Fleece Mane Lion for Syed. I can block the Den Protector if Syed chooses. However, having a monstrous Fleece Mane Lion might set him up well in the coming turns.
Yeah, activating the monster's ability, though, heavy mana investment, and does run into all kinds of removal spell, including Dromoka's Command.
Sorin making a solemn visit to this battlefield here.
I'm hoping to see a vampire here, because you currently have the creatures to protect Sorin. Taking things to the air has been one successful recipe for Amand so far.
Yeah, but in this particular situation, like you make a vampire, I guess it works because you can easily block the raptor.
You have to do something about the raptor at some point anyway. Okay, now it's Zan going for the first move here.
Yeah, and this is gonna be very dangerous. He's putting a counter. Well, at least it's only a 1-for-1 trade, because you grow your Fleece Mane Line to 4/4, so it can block. No, it can only trade with the Den Protector because of the +1/+0.
And
if he does that, the Solemn stays around.
But still, this is still a pretty nice way for Zan to get rid of the Sorin. The Sorin hasn't accomplished anything.
If he doesn't block, he takes a lot of damage. He goes down to 6 life.
Oh, okay. Damage hadn't resolved.
Goes up to 8 from the attack, but then he's still facing 7 damage. And he needs to attack with both of them, or unless he monstrosities. So now he's basically on the ropes of that Collected Company hitting or not. Like, if it doesn't hit, it's looking pretty bad. If it hits, it's looking good.
Death Mist Raptor and Fleece Mane Lion, the follow-up plays for Syed here.
So
both able to block the Den Protector at this stage, however.
How about Den Protector, flip it, return Dromoka's Command, put a +1/+1 counter on my Den Protector, and fight with your Fleece Mane Lion?
yeah, that could... it's almost threatening lethal, but not quite. So the problem is you would have to play the Dromoka's Command before anything else happening, so Zan knows to block the Siege Rhino in that case.
Or he could fight with his Den Protector. Yeah, that's actually a lot better. Fight with the Den Protector, he flips up with the Death Mist Raptor, and put a +1/+1 counter on his Den Protector that can attack. Then Zan has to chump block the Siege Rhino with his Fleece Mane Lion, and he takes 4.
Yeah, Dromoka's Command, one of the key cards in this matchup, in the format, but especially in this matchup.
Yeah, so now he flips that one up. It gets 3 power. Yeah, I think that's the play.
So there is the morph. Step 1.
Proactivity being such a crucial word here. So having 4 power on the Den Protector is huge. The question is, how do you resolve the fight? Because you do lose your Den Protector, the second Den Protector, if you fight with it, but then you force the chump block. Otherwise, you lose the Siege Rhino on the block.
I mean, he's also getting in 1 trample damage, which could be relevant. Yeah.
Dosimont ships, no attacks, no effects. Syed untaps. Collected Company in hand, being joined by a mystery card.
I think that Amand might try to go for the instant kill of returning Sorin and plussing it to have 2 unblockable Den Protectors. But Zan knows that this is a Den Protector, so he won't play into that. And he won't make any reckless attacks that leave him exposed to that.
Here's Whisperwood Elemental. This is the Whisperwood Elemental that we saw last minute, added to the 60. Taking place
much
of
more
the Hornet.
convincing than the Hornet Nest.
Yes, I agree entirely. The 4/4 that threatens to open up a little army inside his can. But the Den Protector on the side of Dosimont might have something to say about that.
Den Protector is such a great card. I mean, it's got evasion, it's got card advantage, it's even fine on turn 2. It's just such a good card.
We see its Megamorph ability activated here. Lots of succulent goodies for Amand Dosimont to select here. What's he going to go with?
But Dromoka's command is strictly better than Hero's Downfall, right? Because you can just fight Siege Rhino and Whisperwood, and you still get a +1/+1 counter out of the deal.
It's worse against Gather Courage, but we've seen the deck lists.
I mean, who in this room
Who would play
would play Gather Courage?
Frank Carsten, sitting about 5 meters away from us.
He puts a counter on the Siege Rhino and not on the Den Protector. Well, Zan actually only has 1 card left, right? Oh, and now a second. The play we would have made would have actually won us the game this turn.
Good to know.
Good to know. Just saying.
Zan Syed consults with the top of his library. What's he found? It's a Temple of Plenty. See what's on top. Does he like what he sees? He does. So, you imagine that's got to be something relevant, considering he's got Collected Company in his hand. But it is the Fleece main line that is becoming monstrous, and that other Fleece main line isn't monstrous. It just has a +1/+1 counter on it, thanks to a Dromoka's command before.
This game is wide open. I think Amand is a little bit favored, but it can go
it's
anywhere.
25-5, 2 Tramplers and 2 creatures that potentially have evasion.
So a very good solution here to differentiate the Lions.
I don't know if this die is really the solution to anything.
I think it's possibly the greatest solution that we've ever come up with here.
It's certainly the biggest.
It's definitely the biggest, baddest solution, and Zan Syed is rolling across the top of this die and getting into his next turn. Here's a main phase Collected Company. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. What's he got?
Oh, he's going for the 3 and 3 rather than the 2, 2, 2.
No, he's going for the 3, 2, 1 this time. Any number of different ways you can configure those cards. And this time, let's see what he's managed to grab. Oh, the 3, 2, 1 failing him this time. All 6 going below.
That's why you always go 2, 2, 2.
That's why you go the 2, 2, 2. Take heed, ladies and gentlemen. Gentle viewer around the world, wherever you are, always 2, 2, 2.
5%. Frank Carsten did the math. That's it.
I think it's not exactly 5. It's probably like 3 points.
It's exactly 100%.
Frank Carsten said 5%.
On the 3, 2, 1, it is exactly 100%.
So
he's gonna try again.
It does not have.
Let's see if it 3, 2, 1s now.
Collected Company. Let's see what we can get this time. Maybe fortune will favor us a little more, says Zan Syed. Death Mist Raptor, Elvish Mystic.
Yeah, you can't complain about that. The second Raptor is huge.
Those pickings are a little more beneficial for the American there. And in comes the Raptor.
This is a tightrope walk. This is very, very close, depending on what these next draw steps are. Imagine if Amand draws an Abzan Charm, gets to chain that into 2 relevant spells.
Or Abzan Charm my Den Protector and make it unblockable.
Yeah, if you... Yeah, you can't even... Yeah, you could have played around that by monstrosing the line at some point.
He actually drew Dromoka's command. He can... I think that's a play. Like... I've said this before. Dromoka's command, fight the lion that is not monstrosity yet, and put a counter on one of your Den Protectors. That way, if you draw the Absent Charm, you actually kill in one turn. Because it's basically the only blocker that could grow to 5 power.
It's also the most scary creature, right?
Here we have Dromoka's command. That's step 1.
I'm surprised at the main phase Collected Company. You know, I would have expected that to just Zan to just pass, because, or actually Monstrous the Lion. I think having a Monstrous Lion in this kind of matchup is so huge. It's probably better than having your Collected Company earlier on. Okay, that.
Here we go.
That might be the turning point. It's very possible that Amand has given Zan too much time.
Snapped
now
into
I don't
play.
like the attack with the Raptor. There's no way to you attack with the Raptor there, because you finally draw this card which will win you the late game, and now you risk if it's got one removal here.
The attack is certainly wrong. Also, the attack after playing the mastery, once again, not the proper sequencing. But we are in the final. People are suffering from exhaustion at this stage. It's just you see that they are just trying their best and sometimes failing.
Fleece main line immediately made monstrous here. Zan Syed going to have a look what's going on in his opponent's graveyard. But Dosimont on 19, now on the back foot firmly with this very powerful enchantment coming into play. Mastery of the Unseen, threatening to really put the screws on the American's opponent here.
Yeah, and Amand played the Dromoka's command last turn. He drew 2 or 3 of them, or at least he cast 2 or 3 of them. And now there's the enchantment that he really needs to deal with if he doesn't want to lose in the late game.
So Zan Syed hell-bent at the moment, but able to manifest the top card of his library. And if it's something as lowly as an Elvish Mystic, it's still going to gain him 6 life. Dosimont with a single card in hand. To the best of my belief, it is a land.
I think Amand is thinking about attacking. But there's still the 4/4 Lion, which basically eats a Den Protector. Then there's the Dragon Slayer, which kind of trade. Well, it doesn't really trade. Well, it's actually not that bad of an attack, to be fair. Because the Dead Misraptor is like the only one who can block the other Den Protector. And then you're looking at 10 trample damage. Yeah, he's attacking, but he of course should have done that before playing the Fleece main line and going monstrosity on that one. But I think the attack on its own is fine.
So here's a manifest.
It's also fine because he gets creatures off the board, so that if he finally finds a creature with the Mastery of the Unseen, he gains less life.
Yeah,
So
this is his last chance to attack the board state to prevent the mastery from spiraling out of control completely.
So Syed carefully and quietly lining up his blocks. We have Death Misraptor blocking the Den Protector. Fleece main line blocking the Siege Rhino. That's monstrous. That's not going anywhere. Den Protector the second remains unblocked, whereas the second Siege Rhino, a gang block here. And we see Fleece main line moved around a bit, so Syed not locked into these blocks just yet.
But this way he's... I mean, there's no reason actually to change the Manifests plus Hidden Dragon Slayer plus Elvish Mystic to the other Siege Rhino, because you're taking equal trample damage and you're not killing the one Siege Rhino. Yeah, that wouldn't change anything. You're not taking less damage when you do this, because of how trample works.
So we see a return to the original configuration for Syed here, but he's still thinking about it.
And you see how close he is to dying here, because he attacked with the Death Misraptor.
Yeah, if this would have been a removal spell, he would have probably died, right?
Well, if that's his block, he's basically, in theory, still dead to a removal spell.
Yeah.
If there's, let's say, a Valorous stance, just for the sake of argument.
Like, let's say Amand didn't draw that Fleeceman line but drew a removal spell. He kills the Hidden Dragon Slayer. He tramples for 1, 2, 5, 6. Yeah, he's not dead. But it's still... Oh, yeah, he's at 6. Okay.
Yeah,
if you trample for 6.
Or you kill the Fleeceman.
The Fleeceman,
that one
you
is the
cannot die.
monsters one.
You
Okay.
cannot die. But that's another reason for Amand to not play the Fleeceman line before the attack, because this gives away so much information. I mean...
Right, it's clear to Zan that Amand did not draw.
Unless this is the
A spell.
perfect bluff with another Dromoka's command.
The perfect bluff of holding your Fleeceman line the turn earlier. Okay, are they currently ordering blockers? Yeah, it looks like Zan is finalizing his blocks, but
Neither of the Siege Rhinos are dying this way.
putting 4 power and 5 power in front of 2 6 toughness rhinos. Amand might be rewarded for putting all these counters on his Siege Rhinos.
Even that gang block there isn't going to kill the Siege Rhino.
Isn't he dead now?
No, he gets the lifelink. The lifelink keeps him barely alive.
So being punished for that attack with the Death Mist Raptor there.
Yeah,
He's losing all of his
punish
creatures
is
except
an
for
understatement. His board is left in shambles.
just 2 little dinosaurs and a lion.
I think Amand has seen the opening he needed and seized it.
Death Mist Raptor joining the graveyard there. So if Zan Syed can manifest and flip something, he'll be happy.
Zan has now 7 toughness and is facing off against 10 trample power and a monstrous Fleeceman line on 2 life.
This draw and the possible manifest is crucial.
Yes, keep in mind that there's Mastery of the Unseen, which we now see in this angle.
4 mana. He goes looking for the top at the top of his library. He manifests a Plains.
He's not happy. Zan not happy.
No, indeed, not happy Zan, as his final land is a Windswept Heath. Final card in hand.
1, 2, 3, 4. Does he have enough toughness? He can chum block the Elvish Mystic.
He would need 8. I think he's exactly dead. He would need 9. I think he's exactly dead. If he chump, well, he can make another.
Yeah, he goes down to 1.
Manifest. He goes down to 1. He makes another manifest. Then he has a chump block and 9 toughness.
No, he's not
so
enough.
he's exactly dead, I think.
That Raptor attack the last 2 turns ago actually lost him the game.
Top decking Mastery of the Unseen and then attacking with Death Mist Raptor is...
When your opponent is at 22.
Windswept Heath hitting the bin. Here's a forest. Zan Syed shuffles. The top card of his library will shortly be put into play via the manifest ability of Master of the Unseen. Dosimont all in with this attack. 1, 2, 3, 4 mana. Manifests Elspeth, Sun's Champion. On 1 life, the American makes his blocks.
No, he cannot survive. He dies exactly.
Yeah, it's just 1. The final point.
And with damage about to resolve, we have our champion of GP Paris. Congratulations to Amand Dosimont, killing his opponent with exactsies after navigating an immensely complicated final with transformative sideboard plans, with Mastery of the Unseen threatening to take over the game. The Belgian is very, very happy to have taken it all the way to the end zone. Well done indeed to him, wearing again the traditional headdress of the Belgian people. Congratulations to Amand Dosimont, our champion of GP Paris 2015. You can see an elated group of Belgians there. One of them is sitting just next to me. Marijn Leibert, you're a happy man.
Belgium is happy. As Saito would say, Belgium is happy.
Today, Belgium celebrates.
Second GP win we got. Yay!
There we are as we bring it back to the booth. Marijn Leibert barely able to contain his mirth, and Simon Goertzen absolutely beside himself with joy. You can read
Abs and aggro.
You can read it all over, etched on every happy line of
It
his
doesn't
face.
need the perfect pilot. It's just that good.
that shows you how good it really is.
Absolutely. After a very grueling tournament, as we've mentioned before, the players really stretched to their mental and emotional limits, but still well done indeed to our champion, managing to take it all the way with a deck, Zimon, that you've been putting up as the best in the room.
I mean, I'm a fan. I'm not completely unbiased. But if you want to have a deck